Hello and welcome to Josh Anderson Art live cartoon drawings. If you've never watched one of these before, you're in the majority. Just kidding. I'll just explain to you the process and the purpose for this. And a little background on me. I'm a graphic designer by trade, but I've always wanted to be a cartoonist growing up, and mainly I was influenced by all these 80s cartoons in my childhood, 80s and 90s. And just realized kind of lately that I've been sort of slacking off in my art. And just I do my graphic design every day because it's my job and I have to, but like I haven't been making time for my art. And so like sometimes I challenge myself with things like Inktober, where I'm doing the drawing every day. Obviously it's not October, so like I've had some other things I've done, like I used to do these ones called lunchtime drawings, and I would just pick out of a magazine, just pick random people to draw, just sketch them out real quick. I only had like 15 minutes on my lunch break, just to keep myself sort of like keep my art honed and making sure my art muscles aren't atrophying. And then there will be long periods of time that go by when I don't do anything, and I just realize I really need to keep on top of it and keep something going every day just to keep my skills up. And so this latest batch of daily drawings that I've been doing are little tributes to all the cartoons I used to watch as a kid. And so a while back, I compiled a huge list just for fun. I actually made a YouTube playlist of all the intros that I could find from all the years of 80s cartoons. And it's called Vintage Retro Memories. It's on this channel. A lot of them, they get deleted pretty quickly because of copyright and stuff. So I have to always go and update the list. That was sort of my master list, and I have that written down somewhere. So I've been going off of that list, just going down it, and it was compiled just out of memory as I did it. And as I was compiling the list, I was kind of blown away by just how many cartoons me and my brother watched, and not just seen or not just remembered, but actually watched a lot of episodes or maybe all of it. And just all the nostalgia that comes when I'm watching these old intros to all these cartoons. So then I started with this daily drawing to just go through that list and pick the next one down the list and then go and try. And this has been the hardest challenge really of all this, is to find a pretty high quality screenshot of each character that I want to do. It's been really hard. And unfortunately, I think the drawings really suffer when I can't find a good quality screenshot. And people probably think, oh, he kind of sucks, but it's really just 'cause I can't see the lines. They're just so low quality. And so sometimes I waste too much time trying to find a good quality picture, and I'll just have to stop and be like, you know what, this is the best I'm going to find. So anyway, here we are today doing Snarf from Thundercats. And in all honesty, Thundercats wasn't one of the ones we watched a whole lot. I do realize it was an 80s icon, probably one of the biggest ones in the 80s, but I don't know why. It's just a lot of the cartoons we watched were it's more because it was available. The right channel was showing it at the right time, and this may not have been scheduled during the time we watched TV. I don't know. I can't remember. Maybe we just didn't like it as much. I don't know. I don't really remember anything about the episodes or anything. But so anyway, I was looking through the character list, just trying to see who I wanted to draw. And I thought Snarf looked the funnest to me. I don't know. For some reason, the Thundercats characters have never been my favorite. I'm not really sure what it is about them. My brother and I we're only a year apart, so we're always kind of like twins. And our favorites were Transformers and Brave Star, Scooby-Doo, the Filmation Ghostbusters, and also the what do they call them? The real Ghostbusters. Yeah, we loved all those. But the list of ones that we liked is a very long list. If you'll go to my Vintage Retro Memories playlist, there's a lot of them on there. And so I thought this would be a really fun project, just to keep picking the next one down the line and drawing them. I don't have very much time. I'm doing this sort of on my break at work. Sometimes it might stretch a little longer than my break, depending on how complicated the character is. Another thing to mention about my setup here, if you're tuning into my videos, I have a horrible setup. I don't have money to spend on like a good camera, a good microphone, anything like that. The mic that I'm using, you'll notice, sounds horrible. It's built-in mic to this really crappy old Microsoft webcam, which is also the camera I'm using. I think it seems like it might be shooting in 480p, like it's just super old and low res. So I'm sorry about that. I can't afford a nice camera, and maybe I should start a Patreon or something. If my videos pick up any speed and people are enjoying watching this. I can just so my technique or my system I have set up is I set the camera up and everything, and then I get a picture of that screenshot up on my computer of whatever character I've chosen. And then I start out with pencil, and then I rough out character. This is the way I always do all of my art, no matter what it is. I always rough out with pencil. And then after that, I'm going to come over with some kind of inking. And for this series, it's actually been this Pentel, Papermate Flare, which is a super cheap pen. And I got these for work for something else, not even to draw with. And I realized they actually the tip of them is very versatile. And so I've been kind of enjoying that. It's not a high quality pen, but I'm able to do some stuff with it I can't do with a lot of other pens. Surprisingly, a good pen. So today's search for Snarf was pretty frustrating. There's actually almost no high quality episodes of the old 1985 Thundercats out there. And I would, buy the DVD and then either do my own screenshots there, whatever, but I can't afford because I'm going to do just about every cartoon that was ever shown in the 80s. So I can't afford to go and buy the DVD for every single one of these. So YouTube it is for now. And I don't know why some cartoons, like you can find really good high def copies that people have uploaded, and then other ones it's probably the copyright. Like I bet you, since Thundercats is a more popular cartoon, they've been nailed if anybody tries to upload HD of this cartoon, which is too bad. And it's also really hard to weed out, like, because my goal is to find the reason I'm doing screenshots from the cartoon instead of just Googling an image is because I want this to be like the actual characters, and it's really hard sometimes when you Google like you're finding other people's drawings, like people's deviant art versions pop up a lot. Like that's almost everything out there that you find. And I don't want that. I want the original, like we used to see it on TV. And so it's really hard to search and find that. And I don't really have a lot of time, so I'm sort of rushing. And then if I waste too much time looking for the guy, I don't have as much time to draw him. I'm more hurried. Oh, and so anyway, to continue my story about my process is then after I ink the guy, I will go back, and for this series anyway, I'll do a color pencil coloring. Just to let you know, I like coloring is not my forte. It's like I just have almost zero practice in coloring, which I really want to get better at that. Because I do have some aspirations to do some children's book illustrations and things like that. And like you got to be able to color somehow, and I'm not a very good painter, and I'm not that great at color pencils, so I really need to work on that stuff. So that's part of this series, is to help me maybe get a little better at color pencil coloring. But it is hard with the time allotment that I have. I gotta keep it going quick, because I gotta get back to real work. Right, I do feel a little bit. So this is the first day on a 8.5 by 11 size sketchbook. The first page in it. When I started this series, I'll show you one of the older ones. I've been doing a 9.5 by 6 inch. And these sketchbooks, I like them because I use them as notebooks actually for work meetings and stuff, and so I can doodle while everybody else is talking. And they're just really easy and portable, and they're better for like doodling, which I do a lot of, especially in meetings. I'm just constantly doodling. They're not good for actually doing real drawings in though, and the reason is because they're so small. They crowd you, and this is my advice if you're a beginning artist or anything, like try to draw big. You can always scale down big, but it's really hard if you're used, and this is actually something I've learned myself. Like I always would draw small, and it's actually a lot harder to scale your stuff up and make yourself draw big when you need to. So that's something too I'm trying to practice more at, is bigger drawings, not this series, but in other ways. So like a lot of these drawings, the daily cartoon characters in this series, there's some really bad mistakes I've done on them. And this is actually the first video too, where I'm explaining things. Like I just haven't had enough viewership to even worry about talking. I'm just trying to practice the live thing on Facebook. But anyway, a lot of those videos, I made some really bad mistakes on the characters, and it's because I'm being crowded by the binding of the sketchbook, and also like my camera, because right now I just have it clipped onto my water bottle to get the right angle. So to get this in view where you can even see it, it's sort of, I got to really push the whole thing under the camera, which makes it even harder to draw. I don't know about this series. There's a lot of limitations I'm running into right now, and It makes it hard to do quality work. Time's the biggest one, though. So it would be fine. Like I'm kind of gauging, I'm trying to gauge by you and whether you're watching and what do you think of this. And if, I've had a few viewers here and there, and some people comment over in the live comment section, which has been fun. I'm learning how to talk and draw at the same time because that doesn't come naturally either. I'm practicing that too. But that's a limitation too. I'm way more accustomed to just putting on some headphones and drawing. Okay, I didn't actually count how many little tummy tiles he has, but it looks about right. I think I'll go with that. So yeah, that's basically what I'll do with the sketch. Like before I get the camera rolling, I learned to kind of get something started first because that first screenshot, I want it to be something that it'll be like, oh, it looks kind of cool. So I'll do the real rough first, like just super loose drawing to get that screenshot going, and so you'll see that I got something going. Then I'll get the camera rolling, and then I'll just start to put in the details of that really loose drawing and get everything kind of positioned right. Like if I was going to do this for, I don't know, a client or just something more than just practice, I might try harder to, like there's some things on him that aren't quite matching up right, but I'm not going to worry about that right now because I am taking probably too long. I've already, over 17 minutes into the video, I've only got the pencil sketch, but so that's kind of how I'll stop with the pencil sketch. That's our pencil and Snarf. I'll get a better view maybe. This is a thing too I've always struggled with, like pencil sketches, like sometimes look cooler than the inked in, depending on what pen you use and what style. And sometimes it's like I almost want to just leave it like that. It's pretty cool looking. But anyway, I'll continue with the series the way I've been doing it, using my Papermate Flair to ink. So here we go. I like to kind of intersperse the theme in there sometimes just to give you something to listen to when I'm not talking. I'm sorry about the quality, though. I know that it's almost impossible to listen to because the quality is so horrible. One of these days, I'll get nicer equipment. I do wish I could afford maybe the DVD of each one of these series so that I could at least get some nice, clean screenshots as my reference images. Essentially, what's happening when you don't have a clean reference is you're guessing where the line's going almost every time. It's not right. It's like I don't guess it the way the original artist would have guessed it or whatever. I think I'm seeing something that's not even there. One of my favorite inking pens to use is a brush pen, which I don't have one here with me, because I love the line quality. And this pen, like just hurrying up and doing the lines like this, it's the line quality is not that great. Like it's just kind of equal width lines all the way around, and I'll do something in a little bit to kind of spice it up a little bit. My first go around is just getting the basic lines down. This right now, I'm struggling with this line right now because if it weren't for the camera, I would be turning this page all different directions, because your strongest line comes from pulling the line. You never want to push lines. And so it's kind of hard to do, and I'm trying to keep this under the camera. Be curious to see how a lot of other artists do when they video their artwork. Like, for one, how are you mounting your camera? I just have this stupid webcam, and it's like hanging off the back of my water bottle. Yeah, I know I'm super ragtag with my little operation here. We're gonna start somewhere, though, right? One of the challenges of doing characters like from screenshots is you'll actually find out, like, in animation, a lot of the frames are off character. Like I don't know, they were working too fast or something, or somebody in the whole production line didn't follow the character sheets or something. I think it has a lot to do with budgets and trying to hurry and stuff. So like you might actually pause it on a frame that's not even how the character looks, or he's missing something. Sometimes they accidentally stick in wrong colors. My brother and I used to crack up at one of the episodes of Scooby-Doo where all of a sudden Shaggy has blonde hair and he's talking with Fred's voice. It's this one where they're scuba diving. It's just a really short little mistake. So one thing I've learned about drawing too, like especially like if you're drawing realistically, like I used to fret and fret about getting everything perfect, and then I get kind of frustrated when my drawing wasn't coming out absolutely like I saw. But and an art teacher tell me, like, is anybody really going to be comparing your drawing? Now, sometimes it is a situation where your source is right there by what you're drawing, but most of the time, like, nobody's going to be comparing your drawing to your reference image or whatever. So they don't know if, like, you got that line wrong or that's not long enough or whatever. The good thing right now is you're not seeing the drawing that I'm doing this from, so you're not seeing all my mistakes. Eventually, like, if I get some time and stuff, time is really hard to find. I would like to start doing these videos as instructional how-tos. I'm not the best artist out there, but I have been doing it for a long time. And I did go to school. I have a degree in graphic design, but part of that degree is you take drawing classes and painting classes and stuff. I've had some really great teachers over the years. Like one of my professors in college, man, I still, like 15 years later or whatever, I still think about things he taught me and like the ways he said to draw lines and carry weight on your lines and stuff like that. using him for figure drawing. And that's the thing too. Like, if you ever want to, like, I don't think I realized this as a kid. I always wanted to be a cartoonist, so I don't need to take realistic drawing classes. I don't need to draw figures and all this stuff. Yes, you absolutely do. Like, I didn't realize that as a kid, but your cartoon characters, they appear stronger when they're based on reality. That's a principle I've seen in a lot of different areas of life, but like kind of having a, I guess, skeletal structure, figuratively and literally, like a skeleton. Like, if you study anatomy and you go to draw cartoons and then you remember, like, oh, there's like a wrist bone here, and there's like this little divot there, and that, and this. And your characters turn out way more interesting when they're based off of reality. So I wouldn't say there's, like, what I'm doing now, drawing off of somebody else's artwork, because it used to be, I would say I wouldn't do that. Like, you're learning how to draw somebody else's art, like make your own stuff, be original. And I think there's pluses and minuses to both, either drawing like straight from reality and drawing other people's art. And what I'm finding, especially with cartoons, is like, if I just want to start from scratch and draw a cartoon shark, I'm actually using the same example Will Terrell used, but just drawing them out of my head or whatever, looking at pictures, like, I can do a pretty cool cartoon shark. But if I Google cartoon sharks and see how a bunch of other artists have tried that and interpreted it, it can give you a lot of ideas. And I'd still say, don't, like, if you're doing an original artwork, you need to, it's kind of like writing a paper, like, you don't want to plagiarize, but you can get lots of inspiration and techniques, and you can borrow a little from this artist and a little from that. And, oh, this is how he did the eyes, and this is how that artist always does hands. So like this series I'm doing now, just like basically 80s, 90s cartoons, pencil, and then ink. I have another series I do off and on over the years around my work, and it's whiteboard drawings. And I do it partly to bug all my coworkers. I just sneak in their offices when they're not there and draw cartoons on their boards. That is to practice drawing large. And then I just, for material to keep me going, is I go off my cartoon list. And so like then that series, I'll do just about every character. I usually just do the good guys, but every character from that series. And so like, I think the beginning of my list is like shirt tails. So then I go online and I find every shirt tail character. And for that series, I would just Google them. It's quicker. Every single shirt tails character, and then I would go from one office to the next and just draw that next character. I have a blog about this whole thing on my Josh Anderson art blog at WordPress, about my whole little journey. But that one is the practice drawing big and then just drawing all different kinds of cartoon characters. And it's crazy. Like, I've really seen my art skills get better just by drawing everybody else's cartoons. And so when I go to do original cartoons, I've got like this toolbox of ideas to borrow from. Hands and noses and cheekbones and just how everybody else does their art. I used to, when I was younger, I was kind of too proud to admit, like, I got ideas from other artists and stuff. It's funny, like, I'm realizing now in my older age that I've been kind of a stuck-up artist as a kid. And I think it was because when I was like starting about third grade, kids always called me the good drawer I was known as the good drawer in class, and they would actually. I remember in fourth grade being paid to draw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for people. And you don't realize it when you're told you're really good at something over and over and over. It goes to your head, like even if you think you're kind of a humble person. And the bad thing about that is it made me not reach to be a better artist because I'm like, I'm good enough. No, you're not. I really wish I never got in that mindset. I need as much practice as anyone out there. And if I had been like actively seeking like guidance and instructional help and stuff like that, I could be so much better artist now. Especially in this day and age of, don't mind my voice now barking at me. Yes, I am doing this live right now. All right, so that's tracing him or inking him. I'm going to erase those pencil lines. All right, I'm going to have to pause this and get a call I need to take. So we'll come in with like a part 2 to finish this in a minute.